Greetings, humans. Starting off with the topic of our presentation, we are faced with a very ambiguous question. What do you think has been the most important event in the history of the land which is now called Pakistan? Well, we have to define the word important formally, but I'm just gonna use it interchangeably with the word impactful or event that led to much more stuff later on. So, the most logical answer here would be, well, the Genesis, as in the creation of the universe, because that would be the most important event in the history of no matter whatever land it is. But considering the course is supposed to be PAMSA, which is Pakistan Modern Southeast Asia, and it's supposed to be a course on history, I'm assuming we're expecting more of a historical event which happened in this land. And the event I chose for this is Liaquat Ali Khan's visit to America in the May of 1950. Now, this may sound like a very odd choice at first, but that event led to be a domino tile which shaped Pakistan's whole standing during the Cold War, Pakistan's foreign policy in the later years, and is still shaping Pakistan's standing in the whole global ecosystem to this day. First, a bit of a background. It's the Cold War. Both sides want the new countries to join their team. India holds more of a neutral ground while Pakistan joins the USA faction, the capitalists. Now, if we look at Liaquat Ali Khan's visit, we see two things happening at the same time. Liaquat Ali Khan visiting USA and Liaquat Ali Khan rejecting USSR's offer to join their faction. Well, this in turn made Pakistan more of a very capitalist nation, as we seem to be. And furthermore, it shaped our foreign policy for, well, a good amount of years. I mean, to this day. So now we'll be looking at two different parts of this alliance. One, the change that it brought internally in the country, and the other one is the foreign policy that it shaped. So starting with the foreign policy, well, obviously, it brought the infamous Soviet-Afghan War, where during Cold War, Soviet Union and America was fighting over Afghanistan, and Pakistan just got in the middle of it, which obviously led to a lot of harm in this country. It brought in weaponry. This is what led to whole terrorism and Taliban, and it brought in drugs and all that bad stuff. Things we're still suffering from to this day. Well, not talking about the changes it brought internally in the country. Well, obviously, this showed that Pakistan was going on the capitalist wing. And thus, we had opposition from the left wing side against Liaquat Ali Khan and his government, which led to stuff like the failed Rawalpindi conspiracy and Faiz Ahmed Faiz going to jail, and eventually the assassination of Liaquat Ali Khan himself, which put the country in a very awkward and unstable political state. So this whole thing ended most of the attempts of bringing a socialist rule in Pakistan, as in the government itself had become pro-capitalist. It wasn't until the 1970s when Bhutto brought in his socialist reforms, which were opposed by religious leaders, as they deemed it to be un-Islamic. And well, these people were supported by the pro-capitalist group, which obviously was mostly in power since the 50s. So this then led to the military coup by General Ziaul Haq, and thus the takeover of Bhutto's government. And that, well, of course, that led to Islamization and the Pakistan that we have today. So Pakistan siding with USA during the Cold War shaped our whole foreign policy for many years. We were very strong US allies. So, well, we were supposed to be US allies, although it can be argued that we were considered to be allies or not. Furthermore, it shaped our economic and political structure internally in the country, and the structure that we still have. This, I would say, the act of Liaquat Ali Khan visiting USA and the signing with the US faction during the Cold War was the most important event in the land that is now Pakistan. So now the voices from the computer shall stop, and I'll let the actual human Mushtaba speak. Bye.